What's up, Faith family? Jarvis God and the Voyager SWAT T here, and welcome back to another review. The channel is still in a bit of content drought, so I thought, why not get another one of these videos out? And today we're going to be talking about the all new, this is actually the new one, the new Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, Rodrick Rules, of course, based on the hit 2009, I think, novel Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Rodrick Rules. It seems like Disney is trying to build a bit of a Diary of a Wimpy Kid franchise on Disney Plus because a news report came out that they're already developing a movie based on The Last Straw. So I think it's very interesting because the first one wasn't that well received, but I guess it did well on the viewership, or they have an existing deal with Jeff Kinney, the author of the books. So I guess they're just gonna keep pumping them out every year. I'm like, well, all right then. You do you, girl. So yeah, I have some thoughts on the new Wimpy Kid movie. It's a franchise very close to my heart. I love the books. The movies not so much, but I do love the books. So whenever it's adapted into film, I think I have a pretty good understanding of the lore of Wimpy Kid. So I'm one of the best judges. There were some improvements. I'll say that. Give credit where credit is due, like Jesus said. But it's still overall subpar. It's better than the last one, but even with all the improvements, it's still kind of crap. I had some high hopes for the movie based on the trailer. Hell, that's why I watched the first movie that they released last year, and that's why I watched this one because I thought the trailer looked good for this one. But the Rodrick Rules movie, the new one, is it's crap. That's the only way to say it. It's crap that's not as bad as it could have been, but it's still pretty bad nonetheless. So either way, let's get into my notes on this. In the last review, I did complain about the actress for Susan sounding like she was being recorded on a phone call in Tijuana. And in this movie, it seems like the actress finally got her microphone fixed. She doesn't sound completely different from all the other actors. It sounds like she has a normal microphone, so they were probably able to get her into a booth. So that's good to hear, literally, because it's not annoying hearing all the like static and shit in the background. I'm trying to watch a movie, not trying to simulate a phone call. And then in terms of the animation, there were still a few weird animation errors, but it's definitely less than what we saw in the first movie. I mean, the movement is still kind of uncanny, and the character designs are still god awful. But something about it does look a little better. I guess they gave it a higher budget, sort of upgraded thing. So I do commend them on that. I will say there's narration throughout the movie. Narration is usually a lazy storytelling device used by writers who don't know how to write, don't know how to show things and not tell them to us, literally tell them to us through some sort of disembodied voice. But the narration in this movie is especially bad. It's like in Minions 2015, where it just pops in and out when the writer didn't want to actually show us what happened. Now, in the Minions movie, I think it worked a lot better because the Minions, they can't talk, and the narrator is some guy with a British accent like David Attenborough. So when he pops in and out, you can obviously tell, okay, that's the narrator. And he comes in like when it makes sense. In the Wimpy Kid movie, the narrator is Greg, okay? So you have normal Greg speaking, and then you have narrator Greg just like randomly popping in, and so you think it's normal Greg speaking, but he's off camera, so you don't know if he's actually like saying things in the scene diegetically or if it's the narrator speaking. It's just confusing, and that was a really lazy choice. My God, the way they handled the narration in this, that was a jarring and asinine decision. And this is coming from someone who's usually okay with narration in movies, so this was just really sloppily done. The entire movie was sloppily done, but again, not as bad as the last one, because the last one was pretty bad. I would never watch it again if I could. Also, another thing, the story structure of the movie is real screwy. They change around so much shit from the book that it just feels jarring to watch. The book was paced a certain way for a reason, so when you throw that structure away, that just makes the film messier than it already is. I mean, in the book, I think Greg and Rodrick, they're sent to the Leisure Towers that their grandpa's in much later in the book after they get busted for throwing the party. But in this movie, it happens before they get busted for throwing the party. So they have a convoluted like reason after they leave the Leisure Towers to have the boys get caught for having a party. And to me, that's really stupid. Just because they wanted to be different, they wanted to change things around, they ended up just messing up the sort of tone of the story, the sort of structure, just the way things are supposed to flow. And I am saying they should be more accurate to the book, because the fact that they went with animation rather than live action like the old movies, the fact they went with animation shows that they want to be faithful to the book somewhat. And the fact that this was written by the guy who literally wrote the book, that should be a sign that they were going for faithfulness to like the original novel. But I guess not. And they just want to change things for the sake of it. They just want to be different to be different. And I'm like, wow, that's all right then. You know what? If you guys will accept crap, that's not on me. If you guys want to put out crap, then it's your reputation, not mine. And on the topic of the story, the ending is incredibly convoluted. Why couldn't Greg perform with both Loaded Diaper and Rowley? That doesn't make any sense. The two acts are like right next to one another on the program. Greg could have gotten dressed up in the suit while he was performing with the band. And clearly, there's nothing stopping someone from performing in two acts, because one of the members of Loaded Diaper was going to swap out with Greg during Rowley's act. In fact, he ended up doing that. So, like, why can't Greg be in both acts? They act like it's some sort of conflict, like he has to choose between being the drummer and supporting his friend Rowley with his act. And it really doesn't make any sense. It's a sort of pointless drama that's like really poorly resolved in the friggin' epilogue. And it's like, why did you set this up in the first place? It's just dumb. And it was all to have some sort of like forced emotional moment that wasn't even in the book. And then and to the next point, okay? I'm getting sort of heated about this. We're supposed to feel bad for Rodrick at the end of the movie, after, Greg goes up on stage. He's killing it on the drums, and then Rodrick walks out crying. And Rodrick is sad because Greg stole his spot in the band. Nigga, what are you talking about? Okay? This idiotic emotional moment wasn't in the book. And it doesn't work. The book didn't have a moment like that. Greg and Rodrick, resolve things with each other in a natural way. And the end of this movie gives a hint of that, of how things actually ended in the book, but instead we have to have the classic Disney moment, the third act scene where the characters go like, oh, it's the third act, so we have to add some deeper meaning to our conflict, man. I'm like, no, the book didn't have that, okay? You could have ripped so much stuff from the book. You had a longer run time. You could have adapted, the full 217 pages in an accurate way. And yet he decided to add in all this stupid, just generic forced conflict and dumb emotional moments that are predicated on things that don't make any sense. Why did the band even approach Greg in the first place? Because he's not proven to be a good drummer like his brother. That whole thing where he was good at drumming because he let it flow through his hands, he let it come from the heart. That doesn't make any sense. That just came out of nowhere to force this emotional moment. It's just so stupid. It's just so dumb. I don't even know why I watched this. The trailer looked low-key good. This movie is high-key shit. It's bad. Again, not as bad as the last one. This one is at least watchable. You can watch it without cringing yourself to death, but I guarantee you're not going to like it, especially if you read the book. You're going to hate this. I kind of hate this. I honestly kind of do. And if they make any more of these, then I think their only option is to be more faithful to the book, because it seems like every time they try to add something new to these CG Wimpy Kid movies, it just doesn't work out for them. But I'm going to cut this short. We're approaching 12 minutes. Hopped on the punch and roll real quick. And I ended up going on a whole philosophical rant about just how crap this movie is. Because it is crap. So if you have Disney Plus, and I don't know why you would, because it's like high-key garbage. Like I said in the last Wimpy Kid review, they don't really care about their shows. They're more concerned with quantity over quality. So they just release a whole bunch of crap like this. If you have a Disney Plus subscription, then I wouldn't recommend watching Diary of a Wimpy Kid Rodrick rules. But then again, if you're the type of person to have Disney Plus and you're the type of person to consider watching this, then you don't need to watch a YouTube review. You need a lobotomy. And yes, I see the irony in that statement. But either way, I've been Jarvis Godden for Voyage Arts YT. Stay tuned for more videos. I'm not even going to give an overview on what I'm working on because I'm really tired right now. That'll be it for me. Stay tuned for more exciting NIG content. I've been Jarvis Godden. I'm out. Take care. Be blessed. Have your pet spayed and neutered.